following podcast is rated G for gammon. Please be aware it may contain some coarse language and is not suitable for children or gammon audiences.
Hello, Vietnam. No, we're in Australia. Wrong way. How you going, everybody? This is your deadly co-host, Aaron Nagus, today on Them Yarns. Welcoming my deadly sister, Carly. How you going, Carly?
I just don't know. I don't know anymore. You say, just press play. I'll be right. Let's get into it. So I trust you. And then I don't know why I trust you because...
You should never trust me. That is the mistake you've been made a lot and
Idiots.
You're probably going to continue to make. But hey, that's why I'm the deadly co-host, everybody. Thank you very much.
This is it. This is why you get a black man as a
You're all
co-host. Oh man, how's the weather, brother? Because I tell you right now, in Brisbane, you're up on the sunny coast, so you're a bit more coastal. But here, it's friggin' cold. I got a robe on. Thank God we're an audio podcast because it's not glamorous. I can tell you right now.
You got the robe on. I got the hoodie on. I don't even know if it's. I don't think it's an official one. I think it's a rip-off version, but it doesn't matter. It keeps me warm. I went to work today, and for those who don't know, I'm bald. So if you have hair, you don't understand what real cold is. Don't talk to me about being cold because when you have no hair on your head, there is nothing to protect you, and there's nothing to keep the heat in.
Damn.
It just floats out. It just floats out the skin and just goes into nowhere. So I was extra cold today, and now I have a blocked nose. So if I sound a bit nasally, I'm not trying to put on a voice for the podcast. This is just
being real.
The weather got me.
I'm in a robe, but the difference is that you're married. You can wear an hoodie. Someone still loves you. I'm single. Okay, look at this robe.
That's why it's an audio. We don't have to worry about the video. When we get famous and we got the videos, then we'll start dressing up and maybe we won't.
Will we?
Maybe that's the appeal of the podcast. We're just black. We're like, this is us. We're not going to dress up for corporate media.
No, I don't think so.
Take us as we are.
Yeah, I'll still be having no bra on. I got these. Aaron, by the way, I've got a shirt on. Should I just say you acted like I'm sitting here
Please tell everybody
topless.
got a shirt on, not just a bathrobe.
Yeah,
no
wake
bra.
up to yourself. I've just to confirm for everyone who can't see, I do have a shirt on. I've got the robe on, but it is cold and brizzy, and I'm grateful. I'm not going to dress up if we get video. That's all I'm going to say.
You're not going to. Well, I will shave for it if we when we start doing video.
Me too. Then right I'll shave too.
Cheats. So let's have a chat about that. Going on the video one day, not right now.
Not right now.
Once we get a bit more professional, I think we should start the video. We just need a video producer. So if you're out there and you're like, I love cutting up videos and making blackfellas look deadly. Then please get in contact because I don't have those skills. And
feel free.
Carly doesn't have the time. So if you want to do it.
It's hard enough cutting up the audios. And you know what, though? I will say Courage, our number one loyal listener, has said if we need any editing, producing, he'll come through. I know he will, but can't be doing that.
No, we can't. The lad makes all of our music. He makes me sound way deadlier than I already am. We can't have him making me look deadly as well. It's fine.
And I do offer to pay. I do offer to pay him. He says no, like every time, and I'm like, dude, just take some money. No, doesn't do it. So shout out Courage.
Shout out to the little lad.
Yeah, I can't also go on the video because that's it for me. It'll be a wrap. I'll never get a date again. That's it. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting in the robe, like I'm single as it is, let alone someone seeing the podcast and going, definitely got a face for radio. That's what they'll say.
That's actually a great segue into today's topic.
Hey?
You're deadly. See, she is a professional, everybody. You might be single, but she's still a professional. So today's topic is actually Blak Love. And, today we're going to have a chat about Blak Love, what it looks like, what it feels like.
Oh, what it feels like.
It sounds like. And when we're talking about Blak Love, obviously, we don't have to just talk about the love between one person and another person. Could be all sorts of love, There's a love for community, there's a love for each other. There's a whole different bunch of ways we can share Blak Love. And but we're going to start with the dating Blak Love because you and I have both been involved with First Nations, Aboriginal, Torres people. And when we say Blak Love, are we also counting all the other colours of the black, or are we just saying
Oh,
black
it could
followers?
be any. It could be anyone. Well, I've dated brown men. Does that count? Black, brown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
black and
okay.
brown. We don't want to get too far into your dating life, but I think for me, when I think about black love, when I talk about this subject, and people actually raise this, right? Like this isn't
Yeah.
something we just thought of. People actually said, you mum need to talk about black love
Yes.
because we both have a history with what this looks like, and I think for me, when I think about black love, and I think about love in general, I think there is a reason why we have a difference. The reason why we talk about it more is because sometimes in the media, we're not really going to see black love, right? We're not going to see, people, two black fellas in the media in any sort of shape, way, or form being in that space.
Are
And
you
we know
talking
what
about
happens,
like characters on like Home and Away?
characters
There's
on
no,
Home and
yeah,
Away and stuff,
yeah.
like we talked about media like recently about having lack of representation, but black love in itself is even less represented in a positive way. So when we talk about black love, sometimes when we see it in the media, the most I've seen it is when we talk about domestic violence and these sort of negative things. And I think about my families and the communities that I've been in where there's some really beautiful, loving black couples that aren't represented anywhere in that space. And so I guess I want to pay respect to them and pay respect to like my uncles and aunties one of my uncles and aunties, she's passed away now, but they were together for, I want to say like nearly 40 years, like
Damn.
just representing that love. They got plenty of kids, plenty of grandkids and stuff. Well, yeah, so there's plenty of couples out there that just aren't being represented in that space. And I just want to pay respect to them. And I think the thing about black love is when we think about it, it can be a healing process or it can be a traumatic process depending on what your involvement with it is. So the reason why I see black love is, and the reason why I see it in my family, how that's been a healing process is, when you're in culture and you're in a mixed race relationship, which we've both been in. Sometimes it's hard to get across the cultural aspect, the cultural safety thing and how that looks for you. So when you've got two mob who are dating each other and going through that, it's just one less step you've got to overcome is thinking about how they relate to you and how they relate to family, and not having to explain the
Yeah.
Womber uncles and that sort of stuff. So I think that's a reason why it can be healing in that space. But I also acknowledge that there's a lot of trauma in our mobs. Like there's a lot of intergenerational trauma. There's a lot of recent traumas, and sometimes if we're not doing the work, that also comes out, and you see some really toxic stereotypes come out about our mob. And that's why I wanted to talk about black love and talk about the positives of what they can be and the strength that I've seen in some of my own families and some of my own communities when we get it right. It can be a beautiful, wonderful thing that brings family and community together. But if we don't do the work, then it can turn bad.
Yeah. I think I have to say, I have to start the conversation for myself to say, I love black men, okay? I think this has been a little mix up in the past with me when I've spoken about my dating experiences. Let me just start by saying I love black men. I just don't date them anymore, okay? I never said I didn't love them. I raised the black man. I love y'all. I do a podcast with the black man. I love black men. I love my brothers, okay? I just have decided for myself that I just don't date black fellas anymore because for me, and I protected black fellas for a long time with, I don't want to speak bad about it. I don't want to speak bad about my exes. I don't want to talk about the bad things because I'm trying to protect the brothers. I don't want to do that on a public scale. But then I guess also the flip side of that is I've had black love. I've done that. It was lovely. The feeling of it is like nothing else. Like you said, you know what I mean? It is that the nuances we have as mob, it's just another layer, right? That when you have somebody that's not from your cultural background, that you have to get over. But in saying that, I also attract these white fellas that hang around black fellas.
If you don't follow Carly on social media,
I'm dead set, bro.
she posted this video recently of this white university kid singing. What was he
Oh,
singing?
I wanna tease you.
Yeah, so he was singing that to the blackest crowd, and this crowd. So when I say blackest, this is
African American, yeah,
African
yeah.
American black, and they were jumping, they were dancing, they
Losing
were
it.
hollering, they were hurt, like they were loving it.
Yep.
And Uncle was sitting there grinding, grinding on the mic and grinding and doing the crowd work. And Carly's like, "This is the white man I attract." And I burst out laughing right in front of
It
everybody. I was
is
like, "What?" I was like,
though.
"Oh, you're not gonna get it,"
Oh
but
my God.
I understood it straight away.
I don't know what it is about me, but I always seem to meet these white fellas that hang around these black fellas, and they know how to talk, like all the lingo. They talk stupid, like they can joke and muck around. Those are the things that we inherently get with each other as black fellas. So that when you see someone on the outside that can do that, it's like, oh, that's cool. And sometimes without the trauma, the black family that comes with it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
look, I'm not perfect, man. Like when I was in relationships with black men, I had a lot of unhealed trauma that
Hmm.
I started to address, but was nowhere near healed in the way that I am healing now. And I'm never going to be 100% healed. I don't think anyone can, but I can own and admit that, you know, I came with a crazy black family and baggage myself. So that's the stuff I think you're talking about when we can get it right, right? Like when it's working, it's like it's so deadly. And it is those aunties and uncles and those nans and those pops that we look at that have been together, these black nans and pops, and they've been together forever. They got all the kids and all the pictures and all. We're like, oh, that's so deadly. But I bet if you ask them, has it been everything? It's they would also say no. Like there is no perfect love, but for me, I had to stop dating mob. Like I just had to stop doing it because I was getting the same result. And a lot of that I can say is myself as well. So I had to take ownership of like, okay, what am I attracting here and what do I want to attract? Unfortunately, that's not in my community anymore because
Mm.
I had one negative experience after another. Had met one or two good experiences over, and I'm talking 15 years of dating. Do you know what I mean? I dated majority black fellas. I only went for majority black fellas until maybe like, gosh, 5 years ago. I just stopped. I was like, okay, I am,
You're
look, I'm
cutting
just going to
off.
get the
You
same
cut.
result.
Time to get some other flavors.
I had to do it. And it's not to say that these other men out here are like any other perfect. They're really not. It's just that I went, okay, I need to start doing something differently for myself. Doesn't mean that I hate black men. Doesn't mean that but I will be critical. Yes, I will be because I have to speak up on these
Mm.
things. As a woman who's been through trauma, a lot of it, yes, unfortunately inflicted by black men. That's my experience. That is my truth. And I have to say that. I have to speak up on that. I've seen
Mm.
domestic violence. I've felt domestic violence. I've been a part of
Yeah.
that. Financial abuse, emotional abuse. Like these are things that are very real. And
Mm.
our sister girls don't speak up about it enough because we get told, you can't do that to our black men. You need to shut up. You need to do this. Like, no, let our black women speak. Let us speak our truth and let us love who we want to love. And same for the bullers. If you want to go and love who you want, I don't care anymore. It's about you and who's going to treat you well at the end of the day.
Mm.
And if we can find that together, fantastic. Go for it. I'm more for it. For me
Mm.
personally, I haven't been able to find it, Aaron.
That's it, and that's fair enough. Like you said, you got to speak your truth. That's your experience. That's your life. That's, you know, you love. Love is love.
Yeah.
We're not advocating that black love is the only love you can have. Just a disclaimer: we're
Mm-hmm.
not disparaging any mixed race relationships. Just to
No,
throw that
go
out
for it.
there.
This is
Can't
it,
do
right?
that.
And I also just say, I've had a lot of people say, well, why don't you try women? That's the next line,
I,
okay?
I yeah, yeah.
And you were
think
about
I
to
said that
say
to
it.
you. I think I
You've
said that to
probably
you
said it
before.
to me. So many people go, why don't you try this? Unfortunately, I'm attracted to men, okay? That is my flaw. I'm not attracted to women. It's just not for me. Good on you if that, but unfortunately, I'm attracted to that. I know.
That
What a
is, that is,
sucker.
there is a lot of good looking women out there. There's a lot of good looking black women out there. So you'd probably do well in that market if
I'm sure I'd clean
your
up, but
brain,
it's
if your brain ever clicked that way.
it's just not
Um,
for me.
I do want to talk about what you were talking about earlier, though. Like, was discussing with my partner, about this before,
Mm.
and she taught, so we're going to talk about black love, and most of my relationships have been with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women. If they, some of them didn't know they were First Nations when we were dating. Some of them obviously were. Some of them, were not so obvious. Or the pale skinned sisters. And she was laughing. She was saying, like I don't know about Blak Love, but I know now that I definitely have a type. We've been together for a while. She's like, her type has evolved to like mostly chocolate, obviously. And then she says that. I think she's just trying to say that to make me feel better. But like at the same time, she's like, like seriously, like that's a thing that's evolved. Like my taste of men has evolved to like I really only like colored men now. Like or brown or black men. She's dated obviously non-indigenous people before. But yeah, she's like that's a different way of Blak Love. Like now she's like, I don't know if, what that looks like, but I know that now when I look at other men, I'm like, yeah, he's all right. Oh, he's a lovely chocolate pen. I'm like, oh, that's lovely for me. Or you're checking out lovely chocolate men on
That's
Instagram.
Healthy.
But
that's a healthy thing.
Look, I'm not jealous like that. She's fine to go window shopping whenever she likes. But yeah, so that's something else. Like that, like you were saying, you find them white men that only like the sisters, and that's like super common, like,
No,
especially in like
they
regional.
find me. I don't find them. They
You
find
them,
me.
sister.
No, come on now.
You find each other. It's like a ship in the night. You're just on a crash course.
It's like a game of dominoes, black and white.
Yeah, I have seen in like regional communities in particular, like there is like some white brothers that like, they only want to date sisters.
Yeah.
And I've seen it be like super great, where they're like, really into it. But then sometimes, with that trauma stuff,
Yeah.
Things aren't great and they end up, things end up in a really bad way. But yeah, it is interesting to see how people have types, like,
Yep.
yeah.
And
because obviously you post your type pretty regularly on Instagram.
Okay,
now,
I was going to say, you're going to give me crap about my type. But the thing is, my type used to be black followers. That's all I used to look at. And I feel like, I don't know if it's an age thing, it's obviously an experience thing, but as I've gotten a bit older, like I'm actually physically not attracted to a lot of our mob anymore. I don't know if it's just because it's like a trauma response and I've locked it out, if I have to be quite honest. But I've also, like, my taste has evolved that I like, a different type now. So I don't even look. And lately, I've been getting a lot of swipes on the Tinders, on the dating apps. Not that I'm on them, I can't remember the last time I went on a date, but I get bored, just a little swipe here and there.
Have a look.
It's not going to hurt anyone. I'm single. Leave me alone. And I've been getting a lot of swipes from the brothers, and I'm like, and I actually just
they're trying to. It's because they heard the podcast where Only Chat said it's time to start thinking about it again.
Nah, I don't know about that. I think I don't know what's going on. Maybe like All Stars was in town or something. Nah, I don't know what it is, but I'm like, as soon as I see one of the brothers come up, the first thing that goes through my head is just match and see who their mob are. Like that's just a Doris, but I'm not. Just have a Doris. I'm not like sexually attracted anymore. It's like the physically attracted, sexually attracted. It's just not there for me anymore. I love having friendships with the brothers and stuff. But I just it's not for me anymore. And I think everyone's taste can evolve. Mine's just evolved to 10s with 6-packs and tattoos. Stop it, Aaron Eggs.
Yeah, so I'm I'm a married man, but my tastes have always been very varied. I've dated much different looking people, much different range of sizes and colours and whatever's, but mostly been.
What are you trying to say? That I've only just like a 6-pack and that's it? Is that what you're trying to say? Because you would be correct.
I'm just saying that I'm better than you because I'm I accept all body shapes and colours and sizes. Can
I just say
I accept like I got a choice.
Can I just say I'm a good Stop it. I'm a good 3.5 on an average day. So for me to even, think about
there's a
10.
There's a reason why we haven't gone straight to video. Just, so
100%.
We're trying to lure in the followers with our voices before we share our faces.
I've still got a chance for now, so we'll see until the video starts. But that's good. You know what I mean? Like I think the experience is what you get, and it doesn't mean that you don't love your community. I think this is the conversation I want to have around. If you can black on black love, if you can find a black man or a black woman or whoever that is from the same culture and creed as you, and they're in our culture, then amazing. I'm so happy for you, Mob. Like I wish that could have happened for me. Do you know what I mean? It's just it hasn't. And if we can have honest conversations about, yeah, look, I have been hurt by majority black followers. And that is something that is unfortunate because I gave chance after chance after chance. I was very, very loyal. I've never cheated on anyone or done any of those things. So it's hard when you see, and I don't know, I've had this conversation with black men. It hurts even more as a black woman when it's done from a black man. Do you, when you're hurt by a black man or when a black man has betrayed you or has done something to you, it proper stings. I think that's what's most hurtful because we expect so much more. And as Aboriginal women, we're so raised to protect our brothers, protect our uncles, protect our mob. So, you know, that's who we are. We're matriarchs, you know, we're raised to be that. So when the same people we're trying to protect hurt us, it cuts deep, you know, and I feel like we need to be able to be honest about that and expect better from each other as mob.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think for me, like thinking about growing up, there was, and, you know, it's probably based on a wrong narrative, but people were like, you know, like, well, keep it, sort of like the keep it in the culture thing, like, oh, you know, you did a black people or white people, and they'll be like, I don't really have a type, like, you know, I'm open to whatever. But that was like a big thing, like, you know, like, oh, you only date black women or you only date. I was like, no, I'm like, I'll date anybody. It's just that
take what I can get, Nag.
Exactly. Black women just were like, you'll come with me. I'm like, all right, you know, you're the boss. That's usually how it works.
That's how it went.
Yeah. But the reason why I want to talk about like the difference in the traumas is understanding that if those traumas collide, then that's probably what you're talking about, right? Like, so the reason why Blak Love can be so amazing is because it's healing, and you see that the culture grows stronger because, you know, you're growing you're creating the next generation of culture in that space. But also the reason why it's so hurtful is that it feels like, oh, this is a cultural hit and a love hit, you know. So if somebody non-Indigenous breaks up with you, you're like, oh yeah, whatever.
Back on Tinder in 2 days.
Yeah, that's right. Like, yeah, whatever. But if it's you know, if it's somebody within the culture, like,
yeah.
How dare you? So really I think that's
I
think that's a double whammy. It can be an amazing thing that helps create stronger relationships.
Yeah.
But also, like, the opposite is also true. Also cause more harm.
I think for me, the issues that it always came down to when it comes to black fellas was the unhealed trauma. People that have unhealed trauma, and I have that now as a red flag for everybody. But our mob carry more trauma. That's just a fact, you know. And it's the way that we have to deal with the world. And so you got two people with that, with their own kinships and baggage, and some might have a stolen generation on one end. One might have no intergenerational wealth. The other the same. So you whatever the trauma is going on as mob, we have it. And it's hard to deal with, you know, and when one person's working on it, the other isn't, when one's inflicting more trauma and not realizing or not owning up to it, it's a hard thing. And that was always the issue for me, you know, dating mob, and it got too much, and I had to eventually put myself first, because I think too, as black women, we tolerate so much because we are so resilient. We will just put up and put up and put up, and we're like loyal down to, okay, that he did that, but that's okay. We can move past it. And I'm guilty of it. I'm so guilty of it. Of making excuses or just copying one thing after another. And until you finally realize, actually, sis, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. What are you protecting for? Because are they protecting you? You know, these are fair questions to ask. And until you put yourself first, and get out of that trauma cycle that you're in, you don't start seeing that on the outside, how you're being treated by somebody else, whether that's a man or woman or whoever. Once you start healing and you start that, you know, breaking that intergenerational trauma, it's hard to unsee it So, and
Mm.
for me, that really helped me get out of that cycle.
Yep.
Because, I've been sober now for 11 years. So a lot of the choices I used to make were based around grog dogging it up every weekend or being stupid or in circles with people that I shouldn't have been in circles with, and again, just making poor choices. So yeah, we need
Mm.
we need to have these conversations. And if you're one of the brother boys, I think like I always ask, like, I'm not here to criticize you. Go and pull that energy into healing yourself. And to the sisters, I say the same thing.
Mm.
If you can find black love together, then that's great. But if you can't, how we can still love each other. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be in that loving relationship like you and I talked about, like what we're talking about here. It can be in the sense of loving our community, right? How good is black love when we're actually pouring it into our community and our things?
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing. Like, when we're talking about Black Love, um, you're talking about how do we share, and we're not talking about just because it's National Reconciliation Week, but how do we share our love of our culture and, the beauty that it brings with everybody else?
Yeah.
How do we bring non-Indigenous people and people who are new to the culture, like how do we bring them on that journey to see like there's this big beautiful black world out here in Australia that we're all connected to, and is it showing black love by engaging with communities? Is it showing black love by supporting black businesses? I have a playlist that is all First Nations artists, and I'll be honest, some days it's that random. I feel like I've got some sort of emotional roller coaster going on. So I go from they took the children away to Barker
Baka.
King
King Brown. Talking
King
about
Brown, and
butters.
then yeah, and then the next one's like Emily,
Yeah, Waimara. Yep.
where so like it's this the roller coaster you're going sometimes is just crazy. But I've just like anytime I hear a new black artist or a new black fella song, I just put it on that list, and
Yeah.
sometimes I just listen to that because like that's what makes me feel strong, knowing that there's deadly black fellas out there making super talented and should be way more famous than they are. But that's one way that I show black love is like I just put that playlist on, driving in the car, put the kids get in the car. Some of them are old, like some of them's from back when you were wearing your
Yeah.
little what are those boob tube dresses, and had
Are
the
you
big
talking about
earrings.
me?
Talking
Wow.
about yeah.
Let me take you back to the date. It was 2003. The club was Mantaz. The street was Flinders Street, Townsville.
And what's sister's name from Cairns?
I could
That was playing.
Shakaya. I could never wear a boob tube. My muscles is too big for a
Yes, I was
boob
about to
tube.
say.
Couldn't happen.
When yeah, that's definitely true. But yeah, so the sisters are on singing, yeah, and it was just deadly. But yeah, so that's the other ways I think we can show black love, right? Like, is how do we connect with culture, and how do we connect them with that feeling of what culture is and why it's important? Because I think, if I'm being honest, like a lot of the problems that white Australia have with black culture is that they don't have enough of their own. They don't have any that they're connected to, and they're not going to see that. But part of the problem is that they're jealous of what that looks like and what that feels like. Like when you're the oldest living culture in the world, it's really easy to love yourself and to love that connection. But when you don't have that, but you're living in that same country and you don't have the connection to that, that can lead to some of the trauma behaviors that we see from non-Indigenous people really not connecting with culture and
Mm.
really being disrespectful because they don't have that connection. So
When you see black love the most, I think is when, unfortunately, our people die. When we have a funeral, when we've had a black death in custody, when something horrific has happened, our people come together and we love each other so hard. And
yeah,
I just wish that we could do that all the time, because
that community love.
that
You're right.
community love, like we come together, we will cook for each other, we'll take care of each other,
Yep.
we do everything for each other. But
Yep.
for some reason, we can't replicate that all the time. I don't know
Mm.
what it is. We really bond over trauma, and that's a cycle that we need to get out of because we deserve to love all the time and be loved all the time.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm encouraging my cousins to get married, because we really are great at having funerals, but we're not great at
Yeah.
having birthdays and weddings and these sort of things because we have more experience with one than the other, which is sad to
Yeah.
think of when when you're a black fella. And I think the first time I spoke at a funeral, I was like 10,
Yeah.
and when I say that to people, they're like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's not even a surprise for black fellas. Like, oh yeah, like if that's something that you're part of the family. I'm the oldest boy. I'm the
Yeah.
oldest person in my lineage, and my nana died, and so everybody's like, all right, Aaron's
You're
going to
up.
get up there and talk, and I
Yep.
did. And people were like, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, It's just what we do. Like we're just really good at funerals, which is unfortunate."
Yeah. And we're just really good at being able to come together and be there for each other when we need to be. And it doesn't happen in loving relationships all the time. And I don't know
Yep.
why. I don't know why that can't be. We deserve it, you know. Would love to have settled down and been that nan and the pop with the pictures on the wall. It just didn't happen. And that's
And the
fine
other
for
thing
me
I want
because
to,
I really enjoyed a single life, to be quite honest with
I was
you.
about to say, you just come back from bloody Scotland, mate. You think you're doing okay with
Hey,
yourself.
hey, hey, hey.
The other thing I want to encourage people to do is family reunions. I think
Yeah.
that's what we also don't do enough. Like we got the biggest family. I know it's going to be hard, but another way we can show black love is actually getting black people together. Because I know when it happens,
Yep.
oh, we should do this all the time, but then
It doesn't. You know what I
it
used
doesn't
to
happen.
do, and I need to bring it back. I used to do at my house because I got a big deck at my house, and it's just meant for like getting together, you know. So I used to chuck on a little a feed up once every kind of 2 months, 3 months. I would go, who wants to bring a feed and just sit around, have a feed together. Everyone brings something. We just have a feed, listen to beats. You can have some drinks. I don't care, whatever you want to do and just be like together and just talk silly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. So I don't know. I think I might have to bring it back because that to me was like showing black love. Like I show black love for cooking. Like I cook for mob. I love doing that. I love I'm a gift giver. So I think that's my love language. I like to give. You know, I'm that person. So that's
I'm
how I
size
show.
13, by the way.
13 in your head. That's what you are. You wish. That's what I try and do. I try and really, and sometimes to my own detriment. I give too much sometimes, but that's how I show black love. If I can't love in a relationship with a black fella, that I will always show love in other ways to my mob. But I think
Yeah,
it's
totally.
I think it's an interesting topic, and you know I've touched on it in the past, and maybe probably haven't said it in the ways that I've wanted to articulate it. Or have been taken out of context in certain ways. And I've always wanted to be able to yarn and have this conversation. And it's important for me too to have it with another black man. You know, I think that's important for me. I've had a lot of healing from black men that have been there for my life, been there for me and stepped up for me in my life outside of just relationships. So that's important as well. So yeah, those relationships will continue to be healed through friendships like ours and others, brothers. So thank you for having the conversation.
No, I don't think it's good. Like I really like being able to have an open, honest conversation about what it looks like and what it sounds like, and like I said, what it feels like, because it can be great, but it also, if we're not doing the work, and I
Yeah.
don't want to be racist. Obviously, non-Indigenous people need to do the work on themselves too. We're not the
Oh,
only ones with trauma. You know,
yes.
if DV was a black issue, then
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't have a woman dying once every week here in Australia. So I think we all need to do some work on ourselves, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that is one of my things, right? Someone asked me on a dating app the other day, what's your red flags in someone? And I said, unhealed trauma. If you're not healing your trauma, I don't care who you are, where you come from, what you're doing. If you're not healing, like everyone's got their trauma, right? Everyone's got to hang up. No one's
Everyone's got it.
perfect. But if you're not actively working on it, and you're just ignoring it and you drink or you gamble or you are a womanizer or you're this or that, your trauma's coming out in other ways. No,
Yep.
anybody got time for that? I would also like to play a new game with you if that's all right.
Here
I
we
think we should
go.
just, from that topic into something else. It's, the old, what hill are you willing to die on?
I do. I've been on a few of them.
I'm on one every week, my friend. And, I was thinking about this. I'm like, oh, what's the hill I'm willing to die on? What can that's it. I said it. And I've got a few, and I keep adding to it. Like every single day, the list is getting bigger. So I think we're going to add this into the show, and let's discuss. There's probably not going to be enough black love between you and I by the time we finish this hill that we're
No.
dying on. So do you want to go first? Because I know you've got one and I've got one. So
Yeah.
let's
I've
do
got
it.
I've got an easy one. So this is
Okay.
this is if anybody that knows me, that follows me on social media or knows me personally, knows that I have a great passion and a hill that I'm willing to die on because I love basketball.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Ah,
didn't
here
know
we
that,
go.
everybody, if you don't know everybody, I love basketball. And Carly is a massive Jordan sneaker collection, which is why I said I was size 13. But I don't want Jordans
You
because I
want
think
Jordans? I'm
he's.
getting you
I don't want
Jordans.
Jordans. To be honest, I'd rather just go barefoot. But the reason
Wow.
why I would rather do that is because I'm a LeBron fan, and
Mm.
till the day I die, I think that LeBron is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game of basketball. And I'm happy to, I'm happy to come on any podcasts. People want to argue with me about it because I got the facts, I got the stats. I'm ready to go. You know, this is the hill. This is not a hill. This is the Mount
This
Everest.
is
I've
a
been arguing
mountain.
about this for a long time now.
Yeah.
Like it's been plugging away. I
Come
lost
on.
lots of Facebook friends over it.
Have
People have
you?
been people
People
have
aren't.
been like
Wow.
physically ready to fight me because I'm like, no, you know what? You're a moron. LeBron's the greatest
So better than any other basketball player ever is what you're
ever.
saying.
He's the greatest. He's the greatest. He's the goat.
If Jordan didn't fly though,
Oh yeah.
LeBron couldn't walk.
Oh no, I'm not
Come on.
disparaging his journey and his great capitalism market that he's created for himself in the world. I just think that, as the game evolves, there's going to be somebody that's probably going to be better than LeBron eventually,
Eventually.
but I think he's just the next level of what the game evolved to where, you had somebody his size, his strength, his IQ, he was just ridiculous and that's in basketball circles that's fight stuff. That's like,
It
what?
is. It really
Like
is.
you don't love Michael or you don't love Kobe? Like, oh, you're a blah 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 blah
Yeah.
blah. So
Kobe. Yeah, like you think about it. And yeah, you and I have had this conversation. We've gotten into it over the years.
yeah,
I don't, it's Michael. For me, it's Michael Jordan. It's always MJ. It's number 23. It's Bulls all day. It's just the way I was raised. I have Jordans
yeah,
in my closet. I can't just start saying, yeah, actually, you're right. I'm going to replace all my Jordans with LeBrons, like as if. For
yeah.
one, ugly shoes. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's cold. That is cold.
Two,
I've
no
got
loyalty. Boom.
look. I used to buy LeBrons a lot, but then I
Wow.
had three kids. I was like, I don't know if I can afford these things anymore.
Yeah. How much are they worth a pair these days?
um, the ones I was buying was like 250, 280. I think
That's
that's
play
the
money. Nah, Gavin.
yeah. But
Same
I
time.
wear them. I don't put them in the glass closet like I'm
Hey,
talking about
hey.
playing basketball. And I'm not. I don't wear
I
shit. I don't wear shoes for fashion. Just so we're aware. I am.
Jordan shoes have changed sneaker culture. That's a fact. So yes,
Yeah,
he,
Jordan's the best at commercialization and capitalism. I'll give him that.
he really is.
Yeah.
But you know what? And I got sucked into that from a very young age. I had the basketball cards. I had the jersey. I got the shoes. I hate that I'm in it, but I'm in it. You know what I mean?
You're in it. You got the deadly glass cabinet.
Okay. No, but those glass caps, I will say, all the Jordans I have are all his playoff shoes. So they're all the shoes that he played. Majority of them are the shoes that he played in. A couple of them aren't. But I got the breads. I got a good couple of series there that are in the box. And I had to put them in glass cabinets because I have two mission dogs who are currently behind me chewing up things, including one blanket that I've had to confiscate during this podcast. Let me turn around real quick and I'll tell you. Oh, yep, we got a towel. We got a towel that we're chewing on. So this is why I can't have my Jordans out in the open air. Can you see now?
That's why they can't be accessible. I understand now.
Come on, man. It's not to look good. Well, it is. But also, do you know the flex that happens when, say, I get a date once every 3 years and a man walks in the house and they see the sneakers and they're like,
Oh yeah.
whose are
I'm like,
these?
oh,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
mine,
his man's
bitch.
these like they're mine.
They're mine's, bitch, and my ex's pair. That's right, because I kept them because it'd be
I'm not
worth
giving 'em
money.
You gave
Okay.
me much more than this.
Look, is this okay? This is a side note, but is this petty of me? When my ex and I broke up, all right, I bought him these pair of Jordans because he was also a Jordans fan. I bought him this pair of Jordans like God years and years ago, and they were $1,000. This pair of Jordan.
Wow.
Yeah. The cool greys, all right, the 11s. I got in the shoe. I tracked him down, dead stock. Like I literally tracked him down from the other side of the world. They're all good to go. Sweet, paid $1,000. It was for his 30th birthday, right? That's the type of
Big
gummer.
birthday.
That's the type of gummer I am, all right? I'm deadly like that, okay?
Yeah.
Got in this pair of shoes. Anyway, flash forward, we break up, right? He's left everything. And I sold everything else and I kept the shoes because they are going to be worth something more.
They are, yep, they're very valuable. And
Is
he
that
shouldn't
petty?
have left them. No, that's not petty.
Thank you.
That makes sense.
So they're not my
I
size.
don't know if we're both toxic, but that makes sense.
They're not even my size, bro. They're like size 10s. I can't even fit them, but
you ain't keeping them to wear them. Keeping them for
my money
20
shoes.
years time when you're like, I got to
That's
retire.
right.
Like,
I need
bam,
money.
I don't want to work no more.
It's like when I don't have money to pay rent, like I'll sell them off and that's 1 week's rent. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so, yeah,
exactly.
that's
Easy.
petty. So, yeah, that's why I can't have my Jordans out for lots of reasons, but mainly because you'll hear these two little tip tappers in the background who want to chew everything. So that's a hill you're willing to die on. That's cool.
I'm dying. I've killed a few friendships over it. So yeah, that's my first hill.
Look, I'm looking through my list and I don't know which one I want to start on. If I want to go hard, I might as well go hard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine.
Let's do it. I started off easy. Let's get into it.
Yours is quite nice considering. Mine, I'll probably have to re-edit this list at some stage because some of them are probably going to get me cancelled. But
please don't get us cancelled. We only just got to 90. We're going to get to 100 yet.
Let me. We only just got to 20 episodes. We just finish off, round it off on 20 because I'm about to do a hill that I'm willing to die on is kids don't belong on planes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. While I'm at it, can I just chuck it in because I feel like it goes side by side. Also in cafes.
See?
Cafes and airplanes, get out of my life.
We were doing so well. We almost had you a date. And then now you're just going to ruin it because all the deadly stepdads out there.
No.
They were like,
it's on my profile. Don't you worry.
You're not going to be on stepbubs. You'll be
No. It's on my dating profile. It says in there, what's your living hell? And mine is like kids on airplanes and in cafes. I just say it because if you want to take your kid to a cafe, go to Mick Cafe. Go to Macca's because that's what that's for. You don't see me sitting in the Mick Cafe with the kids' playground just kicking back screaming, do you? No, you don't, okay?
That's hilarious.
Take your kid. Don't bring it out on a Saturday with me and my friends when we're enjoying our quiet little brunch and you got to bring your screaming kid. No, beat it.
The reason why I find this triple as funny, obviously, is I have 3 kids and they've all been on planes. But we went to Hawaii years ago. So my middle child was proper young, like when she was still flying for free. And she got hand, foot, and mouth disease like the day or two before. Ugh. Right. So if you don't know what hand, foot, and mouth disease is, it's a horrible you get itchy and they get pain and they get fevers and blah, blah, blah. So she cried for 9 hours from Brisbane to Honolulu.
Nah, man.
She cried. We gave her ice. They set us up in our own little section. They tried to give us our own little section of the plane because she was still crying. She was, the dummy wasn't working. The ice wasn't working. Dora the Explorer wasn't working. She was just in, we're loading her up with every drug that we had. I'm pretty sure we gave her Phenergan or something. I don't know. And she's like, she stayed quiet for like 10 minutes and then she started again. I'm like, oh no. So we were those people. We were that family and it was an overnight. So it was a red eye.
Oh my God.
It wasn't like, let's look out the window at the ocean. It was everybody trying to sleep, lights out.
Come on, brah.
Nobody was sleeping. And poor people. And I apologize to Jack Johnson and the other famous people who were on that flight because
not Jack Johnson.
I was like, no. Look at all these famous people on this flight. I was like, poor Hopi Ropey. She didn't have a great flight and neither did anybody else. All 152 souls on board.
Oh my God. I feel sorry. Look, let me say I feel sorry for your daughter, first of all. I feel like you and your wife need an uppercut because you took that poor baby on a holiday when she was sick. We didn't know she was sick until we got there. She didn't have no business being on that flight. No one needed her on there. No one needed Jews on there. All these are offenders. Get off the plane and let us have a holiday. That's horrible. I think I get triggered because I always get I sit on the plane straight away in front of me, to the side of me, or behind me, kids every time.
Yeah.
I could be on the biggest flight. I was in business class, Emirates, kid, Well, what are you doing in here? What are you doing in
this is
here?
business class is not for kids, eh?
Get out. When I tell you I walked past this 3-year-old in business class laying back on a chair by themselves and kicking around in business class, I'm like, it's just not okay. Take another plane. Like, there should just be like kid and parent flights only, and then single people, business people flights only. Imagine that.
I don't disagree with that.
Thank you.
I think it would be a good business model. You know, maybe just one flight a week. Say this is an adults only flight.
Bruh.
You have to be 18 plus, you know, or maybe 60. 16-year-olds will be fine. They're not going to cry. You know, whatever the age group is.
I
But
don't
like, you know,
16-year-olds these days, the entitlement is real. I don't want to see
Yeah,
you and your
true.
vape. Get out the back. Like,
because we have adults only resorts.
that's
You know, we have
it.
those and they work. That seems to be a decent business model. So
Right?
maybe it's, you know, maybe that's something for Qantas or Virgin to think about. And if
I
you
would
do it,
pay.
you owe us royalties because we talked about it first in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one thing
Exactly.
that's one thing I would say I would agree with. Obviously, I'm not going to agree with anything else about the
Come
cafes,
on.
you know,
The
because, you know,
cafes.
them kids eat, them baby tunas cost $7. You know,
You can go to
they put-
Macca's and get it for $3.
I don't want to
Get
get
to Macca's.
them gammon Macca's
You
tunas.
don't need to be at the bougie cafe having brunch. Your kid does not need all of this situation of a breakfast.
My kid needs organic hash browns, right?
They
We're gonna get
don't.
that at Macca's. We need to be putting good food into their system. I want organic farm eggs raised
No.
with chickens that have not seen anything but sunlight and green
Get
grass.
out of here. You know what makes me wild? I went to this cafe like a couple of weeks ago. And it's in West End in Brisbane, okay? So if you know West End, a little bit bougie, a little bit trendy, a little bit gammon. So all of those things mixed into one. Me and my sister girl were sitting there. We're having brunch. Now, they've got a menu that's, you know, it's all types of trendy. You've got your, it's not just your bacon and eggs. It's some sort of bacon and eggs with some sort of twist. All right. So everything that's on this menu is totally different.
The bacon comes from a pig that was raised in Antarctica and, you know,
100%.
only fed penguins.
Like pumpkin hummus. I don't need that on my plate for my breakfast, but they're going to give it to me. You know what I mean? This is the type of cafe it is. I go to this place. We're sitting there. This couple come in. The kid's screaming already, right? So I was enjoying my morning. I was like, yeah, this is nice. It was adults everywhere. It was great. This couple walk in. They got the pram. They got one daughter, and she is just not having it. She's like, I want to sit and come and sit down, please. Come on, come and sit down. I want this thing and the thing and the and then just screaming. Unnecessary squealing, screaming, not listening, talk, none of them things. There's kids running amok. And then I hear the mum, she's looking at the menu and she's flipping it back and forth, like something was magically going to appear on it that wasn't there. Yeah. And then she looked at the guy and she goes, do you have just like peanut butter like on toast? And he's like, no, we don't. We have what's on the menu. And she's like, yeah, it's just that my daughter's not going to eat what's on this menu. Like this is a true conversation.
See, that's a parent problem.
On,
that's
bruh.
not a kid problem.
I don't know.
I see what you're saying there, but that's the parent. One, she's not a good discipliner of children because her kids run a munya. My kids would never do that, even though babies. And two, like you went to a restaurant that doesn't have food for your kid. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
So go to Macca's is what I'm saying. Yeah. She would have known. She's coming into a West End cafe with a child. Take your kid home. What are you doing out this early in the first place? Get home. Like, go and watch some Dora the Explorer. What is it, Miss Rachel? I don't care who it is. Get out of here. You're messing up my whole environment. Don't be on my plane. Don't be in the cafe. And that's a hill I'm willing to die on, my friend.
All right. I'll only just counter with you that I think you're just unlucky. You've been unlucky in love, and you've been unlucky in the plane seating, and you've just been unlucky in your cafe choices. All right, so that's gaslighting. Sorry, I should do that. But yes, true. That's yes. I accept the behavior. I'm sorry about that, but I cannot ban kids because you know what? I might have grandkids one day, and I'm taking them to the cafe because they're going to be bougie as shit like me. We're like, oh, let's go, kids. We're going to be eating some fancy bacon.
I'm on a mountain tonight, and you just started it up, my friend.
I can't wait to give my next mountain because Ron was bad.
Okay. Well, I think each week we're going to get more and more extra with this hill that we're willing to die on. And you and I are going to fight a lot more, and I'm here for it.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready for it. I'm sticking up for the kids.
I was going to say something, but I'm not going to swear at them kids. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to think of things for next
There
week.
you go.
Anyways, bro, I'll catch ya.
Thanks, everybody. Yo.
Sexual